So let's glide through some Billy West films and do it chronologically. This is Playmates. This is a film from 1918. Okay, let's skip forward a little bit to a film called His Day Out, made later in that year. This has got so many similarities to The Adventurer. And this is A Rolling Stone, again directed by Charles Parrott, aka Charlie Chase. And the opening scene of this film is very reminiscent of Chaplin's film A Dog's Life, funnily enough, released just a few months earlier. Now, Oliver Hardy has left and been replaced by Stanton Heck. And heck, that's a heck of an Eric Campbell impersonation. You can also see here a gentleman called Leo White. And funnily enough, I mean, he was a British vaudevillian. And he was already at SNA when Chaplin joined them in 1915. And he went with Chaplin to Mutual in 1916-17. But in 1918, he was hired back by SNA to direct extra scenes for Chaplin's Carmen film. And he also supervised and directed the Triple Trouble film, that notorious film, to help complete Chaplin's contract obligations. So I wouldn't have thought Charlie and Leo got on too well after that. So as you can see, Billy West does a very good Chaplin, and it's quite easy to mix him up, obviously, if you don't know the Chaplin films intimately like some of us do. Well, even the BBC messed it up recently, because they did this series called Icons, which was a ridiculous series, very fatuous, that compared people like Martin Luther King to Andy Warhol. Vote for who you think is the biggest icon out of those two. Yeah, what? So one of the icons that they held up was Chaplin, and within the case they were making for him, they showed this clip, and it's a Billy West film. Yuck, yuck, yuck. So, Billy West, as you can see, the funniest man on earth. Were the public fooled? Did they think this was Chaplin even though they were being told it was Billy West? This sort of thing wouldn't happen nowadays, would it? You wouldn't be allowed to copy something so closely and not get sued. But Chaplin seemed to be happy not to sue Billy West. He did actively sue others later on. We'll talk about them in a moment. So you wonder, did he have a quiet respect for what Billy West was doing? Did he influence Chaplin in any way? Because I think it would be safe to assume that Chaplin watched Billy West's films. I mean, even if it's just to see what he's up to. Because you would, wouldn't you? So maybe one day you thought, hey, what the heck? Who's going to think I'm nicking stuff from him? I'll just nick a couple of ideas. Who's to know? Well, let me just throw this out there. I'm not saying anything in particular, but look, this film is His Day Out, made in 1918. And Billy West is a barber. And then if you look at The Great Dictator, made a long time later, well, this film, 1917, The Hobo, Billy West getting off a train. And then 4 years later, Chaplin makes Idle Class. Look, I'm not saying anything, I'm just throwing it out there, okay? Right, moving on. Later in 1919, Billy West left Bullseye and they needed a replacement. So come in, Harry Mann. What a name. Now this is sort of like somebody doing Billy West doing Chaplin, really. These films are still being directed by Charlie Chase, and these surviving films aren't too bad, mainly down to Chase's direction and the wonderful supporting cast of people that were in these films, like Jimmy Adams here, Monty Banks. But Harry Mann himself, apart from just looking like Chaplin, he didn't have the Billy West nuances.